Welcome back to Noah's Frying Pan. Today we're going to be trying something a little different. Today we're going to be trying to make a Great Depression recipe called Grandma Pruitt's vinegar pie. And the first thing it says to do is to preheat our oven to 450 degrees. So we're going to start by doing that. So while the oven's preheating, we're going to start mixing our ingredients together. And the recipe says that we're going to whisk together the sugar, the flour, and the nutmeg. It only calls for 3 tablespoons of flour, so that's not too much. And it calls for a whopping 2 cups of sugar. Which makes sense because it's a vinegar pie. I mean, you gotta somehow get rid of the vinegar flavor. Now, the only seasoning or spice we have in the whole pie, besides the vinegar of course, is nutmeg. And it calls for, looks like, 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. I'm going to add 1/2 because, again, we're trying to drown out the flavor of the vinegar here, I think. So we'll see how this goes. So let's whisk this together just like it says. Now, you're gonna need a pie crust. I mixed together the pie crust a little bit ago. You can find that pie crust. I made a video on that, and yeah. That seems pretty whisked together. Okay, so let's see. The next thing it says to do is to take 1/3 of your pie dough. So let me grab that pie dough real quick. Okay, so I set aside the sugar mixture, and I have the pie crust that I made maybe a half hour ago. I popped in the fridge, and so it says to take 1/3 of it and roll it out into a circle that's 1/8 of an inch thick. So that's what I'm going to do, and then we have to cut it into strips that are 1 inch by 2 inches. It's not a normal pie. It's something special. You must have been really creative for your first recipe. Grandma must have been really bored in the kitchen. Oh, I have some vinegar. That looks about right. So take it, roll it out just like a normal pie crust, I think. Now, if you're watching this, Grandma Pruitt, don't judge. Don't judge. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay guys, so here's our rolled out circle. Looks like maybe 1/8 of an inch thick. I don't really care. But I think the best way to approach this is we're just going to go across, chopping in 1 inches, and we'll go back the other way, chopping in 2 inches. So we'll see how this goes. Now, I should have picked a better knife than this, but it's working.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I cut these into strips that are about 1 inch thick, just like this. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the knife and cut the other way about 2 inches. Make 2-inch strips like this. If you're watching this around for 20 minutes, you could just made it by one pocket. Okay, so I cut them into strips that are about 2 inches by 1 inches, I think. So let's see what it says in the recipe next. It says cut into 2 by 1 inch strips, so we got that done. Layer a deep 12-inch enamel coated cast iron skillet or oven proof casserole with half of the strip. Sprinkle with sugar mixture. Dot with half of butter. Repeat sugar and butter layers. Okay, so we do not have a big enough cast iron skillet, so I have a kind of a casserole dish here, so we're just going to be using this. So let me get this a little more organized and we'll get started on that. Okay, I got things a little more organized and I took the butter and chopped it into cubes. Now, Grandma Pruitt, specify how big you want your cubes next time. I just cut the butter into little chunks and then cut those into quarters. Specify next time, Grandma Pruitt. So it says to take our dish and to layer a deep enamel coated cast iron skillet or oven proof casserole pan or whatever with half of the strips and then sprinkle them with the sugar mixture. So I'm going to take half these strips and I guess layer them. Grandma Pruitt, specify how to layer next time. Okay, I have layered the bottom of the casserole pan, just like that. I got them all on the bottom. Again, Grandma Pruitt didn't specify on how to do it, so it is what it is. So the next thing to do is to sprinkle the sugar mixture on. So, and it wants half of the sugar mixture. So let's take this and just put it on, I guess. Now, I guess these can act like fake fruit in your pie, these strips of dough. But, I don't know, Grandma Pruitt just thought vinegar was a good idea. So, I'm going to take our butter, and it says to dot it with butter. So, I'm guessing half of the butter again, maybe. Again, start specifying things, Grandma Pruitt. So I got them in there, all spread out, and so we're just going to repeat that again. We'll put more layer on, I guess. It's what she says to do, so that's what we're going to do. And I'll show you it put together. So here's what it looks like when we have all of our sugar mixed in. This is the second layer. I put more butter plops on there. And the next thing the recipe says to do is to roll out the rest of the pie crust and cover it. So let's work on that. Okay, so just like I just said, it says roll the rest of the 2/3 of the pie dough into an 1/8 inch thick circle and then press against the sides of the skillet and da 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 da. So let's get this rolled out real quick. This is like one of the few normal parts of making a pie in like the recipe. It's just rolling out a circle and putting on the top of the pie. Like, Grandma Pruitt must have been thinking, how do we make this more normal? Let's put a normal top on the pie, and we'll call it a pie. it says to place overfilling, press against the sides of the skillet or casserole, and then slit the top. So let's grab our casserole pan, and we'll take it and we'll put it in there, I guess. I tell you, it might be easier with a cast iron skillet, but so what I like to do with pie crust is I fold it in a quarter like this and just set it aside. That way, I can take this. We'll set this in the middle here, unfold it. It's really weird because it's a deep pan, but I think I'll just press it down to the sides, maybe, see what happens. I don't know. And then I think I'll just take a knife and cut off the excess in here. And Grandma's probably just judging right now. She's like, oh my goodness gracious, what's he doing? And let me cut a crack in the middle of it, and I'll show you from the top view of what it looks like. Or, it's not a crack, it's a slit. It's a slit, not a crack. On the recipe, it says a slit. Okay, so here's what the top view of the pie looks like. And the next thing it says to do is mix the water and the vinegar and then pour it on. So let's get to that. So it says it wants 1 quart of hot water. So let's get some water and we'll heat it up in the microwave real quick. Now 1 quart, if y'all didn't know, 1 quart is 4 cups of water. Which I think 4 cups of water is a lot of water for a pie, but you know. So let's get this heated up real quick. Okay, so here we have our hot water, which I just heated up, and this is where we get into the nasty part, where you start thinking, Grandma Pruit, why vinegar? Why vinegar? Don't. Okay, so we're gonna add 2/3 of a cup of white vinegar. So, let's see. Now, Grandma Pruitt, maybe if you did like apple cider vinegar, might be a little better. I don't know. It just doesn't seem right to be putting 2/3 of a cup of vinegar in a pie. But it says to mix it with the water. And just like that. And then it says to pour slowly vinegar mixture through slit. Liquid may be bubbling up through crust. This is normal. None of this is normal, Grandma Pruitt. None of this. Can't say normal with me. To catch spills, line oven with foil. I'm going to use a pizza pan underneath just so that we don't have a big mess. So let's pour it in, see what happens. It's raising up. Oh, man. Set a quart of water, right? 1 quart hot water. This is a lot of water. I don't know if I'm going to add all of this because this just seems unreasonable. I mean, this all got to boil off in your oven. Maybe it'll clean your oven. Maybe that's what it's good for. Okay, so there's all the water. It is really full on water, but you know, we're giving Grandma Pruitt the benefit of the doubt and seeing what happens. So the next thing it says to do is to bake until crust is golden brown, about 1 hour. Cover edge loosely with foil during the last 15 to 20 minutes if needed to prevent overbrowning. Remove foil and cool on a wire rack. So, let's pop it in the oven for an hour. Which it's kind of spread out, but hopefully it'll be fine. So slide it on in here. There we go. And I will see you guys in an hour. So give it a try.
A few moments later.
Okay. Vinegar pie. Here it is. Out of the oven. It's been more than an hour, but you guys don't know that. So we're gonna take a slice with a pie cutter, even though this ain't looking too much like a pie. Oh man, it's slippery. We're gonna take it out, and it smells like an apple pie. It has like a kind of a appley or acidy smell kind of to it. So we're just gonna get a nice slice. Ooh, it's pretty hard on the top, which is surprising. Ooh. And these chunks of pie crust are really like, they look like apples almost. Maybe dumplings, yeah. So let me grab a fork and get a good bite of this. It smells a little bit more like vinegar when you get to the middle. Well, Grandma Pruitt, I know it was the Great Depression, but it's not too bad. I mean, it's not too bad. I mean, you can kind of taste a little bit of acid from the vinegar in the back of your mouth, but the flavor kind of tastes almost like an apple pie, but at the same time, you can still taste the vinegar in there. But thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.